This article was first published in the Cougar Insider's newsletter Tuesday. Sign up to receive the newsletter in your inbox each week. BYU's 2027 recruiting class is small, but deep in talent. However, there are 22 players slated to join the football program from missionary service in the next few months. With the addition of athletes Peyton Higginson, Lakipa Sachuala, offensive lineman Kyle Nabratsky, and talented Uhila Wolfgram, head coach Kalani Sitake enjoyed a Real recruiting boost to start the month of July. Here are our stories on these announced July commitments. Peyton Higginson, Uhila Wolfgram. The other commitments for the class of 27 include W.R. Blake Wong, D.L. Jeremiah Williams, C.B. Ryan Wooten, C.B. Kamoni Adams, D.L. Masaiamoa Moa Havalai, C.B. DeMichael Burks, R.B. Urza Sanalivi, athletes Jackson Rex and Titan DeYoung, and kicker James Thorley. In this analysis by College Football Report, BYU ranks high nationally when it comes to doing more with less ranked recruiting talent. BYU football got commitments late in June and early July. What stands out about the class of 2027 so far? J. Drew. The thing that stands out about this BYU recruiting class is that it is loaded with quality players. It might not have the quantity yet. BYU has commitments from just 13 players at last count, but it is loaded with players with 3-star or better ratings. The headliners, of course, are receiver Blake Wong and lineman Uhila Wolfgram. BYU beat some of the top programs in the country for those guys. This has got to be the best defensive line signing class in recent memory, with Wolfgram joining Jeremiah Williams and Moa Havalai. Kalani Sitake is finally getting a Utah-type defensive line at BYU, it appears. By that, I mean Utah's defensive lines that were known as Sac Lake City. I also like the fact that BYU has been able to get commitments from 3-star cornerbacks without Gennaro Guilford in the fold. Ryan Wooten, Kamoni Adams, and DeMichael Burks, who flipped from Fresno State, could represent the best trio of cornerback signings in BYU history. Dick Harmon. What stands out to me is that in the span of a week, while Kalani Sitake and other staff members were in Tonga, BYU got commitments from 4 prospects who had offers from Michigan, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt, and Utah. I'd have to rack my brain to remember when that last happened, if ever. The commitments of Uhila Wolfgram, Lakipa Sachuala, Peyton Higginson, and Kyle Nabratsky in July give the Cougars 14 commitments, still a small class so far, but their additions to the list elevated BYU's composite recruiting rankings on 247 Sports to number 2 in the Big 12 behind Texas Tech. It is obvious that BYU's nil game is in full gear, especially when it came to being competitive with Oklahoma for Wolfgram. Along with Jay, I am impressed with BYU's ability to sign quality cornerbacks in this class when Jay Hill and Gennaro Guilford are in and Arbor working for Kyle Whittingham. BYU staff is doing a very good job without Hill's recruiting acumen. Igor Demon is turning heads in the NBA Summer League. In 2 games, the former Cougar has scored 46 points with 15 rebounds and 6 assists in 50 minutes, shooting 15 of 27 from the field and 4 of 15 from beyond the arc. In this piece by Dave McCann, Taylor Lovell reflects on her NCAA steeplechase victory. Big 12 Media Days. Big expectations. Deseret News. BYU lands 6 on Big 12 preseason team. Deseret News. Wallen return. Right fit for Clemson transfer. Daily Herald. Comments from Deseret News readers. Wait, you're telling me that with his size, this young man Uhila is on the track team? A sprinter and on the relay team? Holy schneekies. And I saw the practice footage, where he blows past some unfortunate blocker in drills. So when he's on the team will be the first time Coach Brady, aka B-Pop, has ever been tempted to put on the field this youngster and a few cornerbacks. Looks like that's all he'd need. Mowgli 54. Kalani wins more than his fair share of recruiting battles, but as this article points out, you can't win them all. To win 33% against a school like Oklahoma is respectable. But because of Kalani's exceptional relationship-building skills, many that commit to other schools as freshmen come back to BYU in later years. If I were a betting man, I'd bet that one of the 2 Oklahoma commits will end up at BYU before their playing days are over. However, even more important than competing against schools like Oklahoma and Michigan is BYU able to compete against UU, and other Big 12 schools. I don't know the stats, so I'm gonna make them up. In the days of independence, it felt like BYU lost 70% of the recruiting battles to UU. Now that we're back on level playing field, it feels like BYU is winning 70% of the recruiting battles versus UU. Go Cougs! Coug Feinin TX. August 4th TBA Football Fall Practice Provo.